Oh yes, hi, I'm GAZBOT, and this is the GAZBOT Report number 5. Back from my trip to New Jersey, I then took a side trip, a trip down to the LA area to go to DragCon, RuPaul's Drag Race, with my wife and our friend. I did not attend the event, the convention I did last year. I'm not a huge fan. I mainly went for my wife, and this year she has a friend, so I just went for the trip to see some friends and hang out in the area. And that's what this is about. Plus I do a little drawing. Okay, let's see that guitar man. Or bass. It's a bass.
So to begin with, I hooked up with my buddy Kevin, and we went to an arcade, the name of which I'm forgetting. It's at one of those bar arcade places, but they had a little good pinball, like the Royal Rumble here. And so we did that. I saw him quite a few times, which was cool. We went to the little Japantown down there that they had. And one of the things we also did is went over to Beverly Hills, where my other buddy Pete has a restaurant called The Flats, which is a flatbread pizza place, and the area is also known as The Flats. So, huzzoo! Comedy restaurant ensues. And that street I was just on is like the most Beverly Hillsy looking street I ever saw. It was fancy houses and what do you call them things? Palm trees. That's right, palm trees.
It's Sunday on my little LA trip where Q and friend are going to DragCon, and I am spending time ostensibly seeing friends, but also just wandering around LA. And today I am going to Target, which is about a 15-minute walk from here. And then hopefully they have a Starbucks or something like that that I could kill time at, do a little Japanese homework, do a little sketching until my buddy Kevin is ready to hang out. Yes! I don't know what we're gonna do, but that is my plan. Back to you in the studio.
So walking over to Target, I saw this cool building. I don't know what it was. It was sort of partially under construction, but it just had a really cool futuristic looking look to it. And I took some pictures, theoretically for reference, although I feel like I do this all the time. Like, these will be reference. And then I forget about it or go looking for the reference and can't find it or whatever. But at least it made me take note of it mentally, even if I don't literally go find the picture later. I ended up meeting my buddy for lunch at the 5-Cent Diner, where I got some vegetarian chili fries and some coleslaw. It was delicious, but a mistake as I walked around later and crop dusted the world. He recommended I check out the Last Bookstore on Spring Street, which was a great idea. And as you can see here, I'm giving you a mini tour. I have tried to cut back on my physical media. I still have a few books, a few comics, a few DVDs, but much less than I used to. So I wasn't really looking to buy a book, but this store is amazing. Even if you don't like books at all, it's just so much fun. It's designed, it's 2 stories, it's huge, it's designed to sort of be installation artwork. It has sections, you know, like mystery and horror and all the things you'd expect, but then it has sculpture, and it has, you can see here, like a book Tornado, and it's going into, you know, over here we have color-coded books, and that is not for sale. That's just, again, part of an installation. And I don't know who designed it. I didn't do any history to, like, to figure out who did it or when. Here you can see there's a big tunnel made out of books that's sort of like a, you know, I don't know, a knowledge corridor, and it's lit, and it's fantastic. And this looks like it was in an old bank building or something. Here's me going through the tunnel, because you can see there's this safe, but you could go in there. This is on the side, and inside it's the horror vault, and they have a bunch of horror books and things like that. So it's themed that way. And here in another section, you can see like transistors and fake old-fashioned sci-fi stuff they've put up. I was there, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. I ended up buying 1 book, too. And it's not like I sat around reading. There wasn't a Starbucks to have coffee or anything. Just enjoying the whole place. This is from the upstairs. You can see they have sort of a Christmas light deal and, like, goofy mirrors and say windows, and that's the downstairs, and that's only one section of the downstairs. It's hard to see the whole thing. Oh, and I forgot, across the way on the upstairs, which you'll see in a minute, is a whole bunch of actual art installations. This is probably the most popular place where people took pictures. There was like a fake hole cut in the middle of some of the books, and also the books you could buy and read and everything are interspersed with books that are part of art installations. So like the whole thing is a really cool vibe. It would be really fun to bring like kids here if you want to get them excited about books and reading. This is at the top of the staircase. They have a bunch of, you know, books like they're flying off the shelf as birds and things, and it's just a fantastic funnery. And more of this, you know, paper just has streamers everywhere. I didn't do the best job with the camera work here. Okay, so now this is pointing over the side. You can see there's a sculpture of a person, and on the other side upstairs there are sort of art gallery slash stores. There's me just looking downstairs again to give you another view of all the books you could possibly buy. And so seriously, there's photos and interesting, frames of windows. I don't know if that's part of the installation or that's just the way the building is built. Once again, trying to get another view. Oh, there's a sitting area where people could read, and there's like an old-fashioned typewriter. All the kids were like, "What is this thing?" And tack, 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 tack. And these were stores, and they had prints and art. After I started filming here a little bit, I realized I wasn't supposed to. Probably right about now, because I was like, "Oh, look at these cool things." Then I saw a sign, so I stopped. This is me back downstairs on the ground floor, just again looking at. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is me across the way. So here's the hole where people take pictures. There's me pointing to the hole. I'm an exciting fellow. But that was like constantly the place to take pictures. This is me going downstairs. You can see they have sculpture and everything. Downstairs here, I went over. They have a vinyl area where there's like just tons and tons of records. This is the secret dungeon, or whatever it was called, and this is the comic area. And now they had Spider-Man and a few other books, but they also had a really good selection of independent books, and that was actually Tokusatsu Ultraman book I was looking at. The one book I did end up buying was a comic. It was a book called Demon. Switching gears for just a moment, here is a sketch I did of Logan, a.k.a. Wolverine of the X-Men. This is in Procreate on the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, obviously sped up. I don't remember when I did this. I don't know if it was on the plane. I don't remember if it was in the car, but it was sometime around this general time, right? So you can see I sort of used the same process I would use in Photoshop, where I'm just going over with different layers and roughing, and I don't think I took it fully to digital inks. But, you can get pretty detailed, and I made his head a little smaller so you could do digital adjustments. So there's that. Coming out of the last bookstore, I was heading back to the hotel, had some time to kill, and wandered right into the middle of this big street fair festival. I don't know what you would call it. They had music. It was mainly Spanish language. I'm not even sure what the celebration was. There wasn't any banners that I noticed, at least none that I could read. But there's a lot of food vendors. There was also a lot of advertisers. Like that wall right there is like an advertisement for Spider-Man Homecoming. And there was like a Baywatch advertisement, but all in Spanish, which was kind of cool. And I'm just panning around the streets. You can see here, it was all closed off so that no traffic can go through. You can see the light just flashing and stuff. They had bouncy houses and things like that.
Play to them. You've lost your mind. You have broken the first and second commandment of the Ten Commandments.
And of course, it wouldn't be a gathering of people having a good time if there weren't some weird religious people screaming at them that they're sinners going to hell. I don't know why, but you see it at Comic-Con, you see it at street festivals. I don't know if it's a California thing or what, but it's always an angry yelling at people that are just having a good time. They did have a cool Optimus Prime and Bumblebee there that I took some pictures with, as you can see. I didn't spend any money except for buying a bottle of water later, but it took up so much room. It was also boiling hot. I look like I'm not dying here, but I'm dying, as you can see. The street was so far that here's another musical stage. They were playing at the same time, but you couldn't hear. Like one stage faded from sound, quiet, 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 and then another one came. This was a weird line. It was sort of like the swag bag line, but it was all for like grocery stores and things like that. And you came out the end sort of like with a free load of groceries.
Just got back to the hotel we're staying in, and I noticed this, which I like quite a bit. Out in the hallway, there's a house phone, even though we have phones in the room and most people have cell phones. But what I especially like is that it's in front of a mirror, so that you could pick it up and imagine talking to yourself if you were in prison.
So walking outside, I saw this Ghostbusters flyer up outside the hotel, and realizing that this is the hotel where a lot of scenes from Ghostbusters were filmed. The scenes where they went to get Slimer, basically. This is the first Ghostbusters. Even though it was ostensibly in New York, this was the building that was used. Now, it's been remodeled a little bit and changed around, and it was staged, so it's hard to kind of tell. I had to actually go online and compare these images. This is the main one, though. This is the lobby, but that ceiling is a big icon, there's me pointing at it, of the ballroom that they had used. And again, here, this little sconce is where they're standing next to each other. And it's a really weird thing, because it wasn't like I walked in and went, oh man, this is Ghostbusters. It's more like when I quick did some research online, I was like, oh, I see how this was Ghostbusters. And they filmed a lot of other movies there, Beverly Hills Cop and thing, and I just started filming all over the area to see if there was anything that was movie related. And I caught this cool chalk drawing of some kind of space guy and an alligator, both very gentlemanly. It had nothing to do with Ghostbusters, but I thought were cool. And again, this entrance is something that's all historical and Hollywoody, but the main thing is that most of the locations portrayed were New York, but it was actually LA. Driving out of town, we saw this crazy Bob Barker marionette theater. Now, I don't know if that's the guy from Price is Right or not, but it looked horrifying. But what was nice was the Black Bear Diner, where I got this lovely banana cream pie, and I read Double Cross by my buddy Tony Casiglio, which is a great comic that I recommend if you like indie books. So it's about 6 o'clock on Monday. Just got back from LA about half hour ago.
I'm tired, I gotta get food and a few other things, but I'm out on my bike. Look, I'm riding my bike. Why? 2 reasons. 1, because I need to get more exercise. And 2, it's garbage dump day, and I can't pass up on an opportunity to check out these piles, see if there's any toys or other good things, especially while it's still light out and I still have a little bit of energy. So it's the collector junk garbage picker in me, as well as the I need to be motivated to do more exercise. All right, anyway, I'm gonna look. There's a broken kitchen sink over there. And some kind of Optimus Prime, a newer one I don't really want. If I was just a pure reseller, I'd grab that because I can get a few bucks for it, but I don't actually want it, so I'm not taking it. I will say these first couple piles have some robust offerings. Not necessarily anything I want, but just a lot. Over here, there's some kind of Nerf gun. Neat looking if I was into cosplay and I could use it, but I doubt it works. And then more kid stuff over here. A lot of bright colored plastic to look at. Not necessarily the bright colored plastic I want, but again, something to look at least. Wouldn't be dump day if you didn't see some old VHS tapes. But look at this, there's shelving units and chairs, all kinds of stuff. A grill. I saw some machine before, I don't even know what it was. I see a lot of old construction and things like that. That first part was like the main route. It was kind of the appetizer. These back suburban areas are the real meat of it. And while it looks more promising than the other times I've gone, I've actually found less. I found 1 or 2 things, which I'll show you later. There's also not as much competition as when it gets darker, but the good thing is that while there are other people looking, usually they're looking for like leaf blowers and TVs and stuff, not old comics and toys and the kind of things I'd be looking for. I feel like I know somebody that would want this, but it's not me. But yeah. See, like old stereo. If I can go back in time, I could grab all this stuff and go back to the 80s and be a millionaire. Because a lot of what you see is technology that people don't want anymore. Sometimes you get a big pile like this one behind me, and I have to ride up one side and then ride down the other. Really, I should be walking, but I'm trying to do this quickly. Another staple, the jar of mystery liquid. And here's the cruise by from my point of view. Operation. Cabbage Patch Kid. A few toys that make me think maybe I'll check the other side. Here's a pile of nothing. Here's a pile of boxes and nothing. There's some stuff on the other side of the street, but I'll get to that later. I think I'm gonna go all the way down here and then turn around and come back. All right, I'm gonna stop recording now. Look at this trick. It's a whole bunch of construction stuff, but then I'm like, oh, a pop box. Empty. I was like, oh, they got me. They got me. I think I've seen everything, and I'm starting to go in circles where I'm like, did I see this road? Did I see that pile? I think I've covered it all. I'm gonna head back home, going the other way. I don't know how long I've been out, half hour, maybe? It's hard to tell because I'm gliding on my bike. I've been doing a lot of walking in LA, and now that I'm on my bike, I feel like I'm going at super speed. This would have taken me, an hour or 2 to walk around, even if I was going quickly. So I've lost all sense of time and space. Not a lot of finds. I was also thinking what to call it. I used to do, my grandfather did this, my father did it, and I do it too. And I think my grandfather called it garbage picking, or more precisely, my grandmother called it garbage picking. I think my dad calls it junk picking, which is slightly better. Both accurate. I like scavenging, because scavenging, while it has a negative connotation, isn't really a bad thing. Scavengers clean up carcasses in nature and, reuse unwanted materials, and that's what I would be doing. I'd be taking garbage out of a garbage pile and giving it new life, thus being good. I'm tired. Scavenger. Well, I was about to turn home and I decided to turn left, and I didn't see anything on those roads, and I figured this neighborhood was on a different schedule or been picked up or something and just hit a rock. But down this way I see some piles, so I'll put in a few more minutes. I've been out here over an hour now, and yeah, this other area I went to probably has more than the original area that I normally go to. And it's flipped from, oh man, I hope there's more piles, to I look down the street when there's no piles, I'm like, oh phew. And I'm kind of cruising by just hoping to see something because I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm dirty. So I'm just giving it a cursory glance. I'm on my way back, hitting the other side. Yeah. Searching, negative, resume. I got excited when I saw these because it's Japanese writing, and I thought maybe they were instructional textbooks that I could use, but then I realized Japanese lived here because they're just water bottles and other things branded with Japanese companies. So then I got excited they'd have Japanese toys like Ultraman or something, but no, it's just another dead end. Across the street, this was a promising box. You can see it's mostly toys, nothing I want. And again, if I was a reseller, I'd just grab this whole thing and flip it for whatever I could.
That kind of looks like a G.I. Joe thing, but it's not. But, yeah. I keep getting just enough to keep me out here, but nothing I'm actually getting. Okay, I think I've finally gotten this whole area. I'm starting to have a thing where I'm repeating. You know, I try to go in a pattern, but it's like not a grid exactly, so sometimes I end up repeating accidentally. And I think I've gotten to the point where I've seen everything now. I'm heading back, hopefully to be done. Well, I'm done. And after looking through all that garbage and gross, I'm going to treat myself to a nice little ride through the park home. It's a short ride, but it's enough to cleanse me of all the fleas and mites and mold and scabies that are obviously on me now. Stop it. We'll wait for 2 seconds and they just start fighting. So I'm back from my LA adventures. The cats are fighting over there. I'm out on my porch. I came out here for a second and I'm locked out of my house. And luckily I had my phone with me, because if not, I would just have to hope for a friendly maintenance worker to wander by as I yelled for help. I did try picking the lock. I had a nail clipper in my pocket. I could not pick the lock. I tried opening the windows, but they're kind of sealed shut, so I couldn't get in that way. I have had to break into my own house before, so I thought I could do it, but no. So now I, luckily, was able to call the front office and prove to them what a smart and capable human being I was by asking for them to send maintenance to let me in my own house. Good. Star Commander likes to sit in the sink. Ugh, gross, I just don't like that. She likes to play. She likes to be pet. She likes to theoretically drink from the fountain, faucet, but every time I turn it on, oh wait, here, I'm gonna give you a little bit. No, see, she doesn't like that. She doesn't want to get wet. So I don't know. Here, let's see if this works. There we go. Want a drink? There she goes. Now she's got it. All right. Now she's, yeah, good. How do I use my paws to drink it? I don't know about this. This water seems quite wet. I excuse myself. Star Commander, away! You see, we're supposed to jump right on cue there. It would have been, well, I'm back inside. I've got a cat on my lap, and I've got video editing in front of me. This is the video for Colossal Con roundup. I am just back from LA and New Jersey and Colossal Con, all that stuff. Haven't done a video since. I'm now getting down to editing. I'm quite interested, enthused to get back to working on my comic, but having been away so long, I just had to do things around the house. I have tons of stuff to do. I mean, like cleaning up, recycling, and dishes, and cats, and laundry, and all that stuff, but then also I have to go pick up the mail, and other things like out in the world that, you know, I had my Hold'em mail. So what I'm going to do is I've done a bunch of housework in the morning. I got up early today, like 8 something, which is unusual, but I'm on a weird schedule right now. And I'm going to do this video and get it up, and then I'm going to take a bike ride because I'm also trying to exercise more. And I will then go to pick up the mail and see where we're at, and hopefully I can get some work on the comic done later, but if not, no big deal. I kind of expected not to today. Oh look, I have that lovely glow that I get from sweat. There we are. So I'm in the shade right now. Out there where the sun lives, it's 90+ degrees. It's horrible today. So I'm going for a bike ride, which is awesome. Now I did wear gloves, put on sunscreen, everything I have to do to protect myself. Well, the gloves aren't for the sun. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I had to pick up the mail from the vacation in New Jersey and Delaware. The other stuff from LA, I also stopped the mail, but I told them to just deliver it because when I tried to pick up the mail the other day, I couldn't, and it was a big pain in the butt, so I'm like, just deliver it to the house. But apparently, because I didn't pick it up, they just delivered it anyway. So I rode over here for no reason. Now I know I've been saying I wanted to get exercise, and I did, but I did a lot of housework, and I could have done something else to get my exercise rather than riding 20 minutes each way in the blazing sun, which is what I have decided now I've done. So I'm gonna go home, take a shower, and hope I can muster some energy to do some drawing before Q comes home and it's time for dinner. I am GAZBOT, in the shade, about to go into the inferno. I don't like that summer is here. I just got out of the shower from the bike ride. I'm sitting here in bed. I had horrible hiccups. I was gonna show you my horrible hiccups. Now they seem to be gone. Hiccup, hic. Can't even make it happen. Well, that's the cure for hiccups, folks. Film yourself, and they'll go away. I wonder if they'll start when I press stop. I did a huge hiccup right after I stopped. I promise you. I promise. Oh, I almost had it. See, it was so annoying and big that it was hilarious. And there's one. Okay, that wasn't that bad, but imagine more of those and more frequent. Okay, well, I'm proud of myself. I shouldn't be, but I actually got motivated and did some work. It's a little after 6. Now I have to stop because Q... Hiccups. I got the hiccups again. It's been like an hour and a half, but I have the hiccups just now again. Anyway, hopefully not as bad as before. I don't get hiccups that often. Who cares about hiccups? Stop talking about hiccups. I did...
hiccup. I did work on the horror. I worked on panel 3 of page 13, which is the last thing I was working on my iPad. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to keep going through the hiccups. One of the limitations of the iPad, and I won't say limitation, one of the issues I have with the iPad and Procreate is straight lines. There's a way to do it, and it's not that difficult, but the way you do it in Photoshop is you sort of hold the point and hit shift and you get a straight line. In Procreate, you can actually hold the squiggly line and it gets straight, and then you move it where you want it to go. The problem is it gives a natural sort of bevel or a fade where it gets thick and thin at the end of them. There's probably an option to change that. Maybe it's the brush I'm using, I don't know, but I was having a hard time with it. So I brought it into Photoshop and I banged it out really quick. I finished the inks in this panel, and yeah, even though I was kind of getting used to doing it on the iPad, it's so much quicker in Photoshop on this Cintiq. And I've kept the iPad, but I'm still questioning how good it is for inks, at least comic book inks, because I did some pinup-y kind of stuff and that worked fine. And I'm keeping it because I still got more work done on vacation than I would have, which is the equivalent of a panel and a half on my book, which is terrible, but I still was drawing and I was working on other things and staying, creative, staying drawing. And if it was at other phases of the work in terms of character design or anything other than inks, I would have been golden and getting lots of, getting lots of work done. But I'll show you where I'm at. So basically, all I did was clean these up, which looked like they'd be tough, but the pencils were so tight that I was just literally tracing. And then I put in some gray backgrounds, and then I did these 2 buildings, and I got to finish up the grays and the shadows on her face and stuff. So not a lot of work. It was a little over an hour, which is ridiculous. Hiccups, which is ridiculous, but I'm not going to get into that whole thing about how I'm too slow anymore. I'm just going to be happy that I worked, and yeah, shaking the rust off, and hopefully tomorrow I'll do even more. And that's it. See you next time. Good day. Cat! There's a way to do it, but the way I'm doing it,